Hey peeps, welcome to the Crafty Witch UK. My name is Arietta and today I wanted to share with you some of my Lammas preparations. So I will pop a link to a previous video up in the eye where I used one of these lovely twig crescents to make a door decoration. That was for the previous season. That one is now in need of replacement, and so that's what we're going to work on today as part of prep for Lammas and just to get into that harvest mindset. So I'm going to be referring to this book a little bit. This is Lammas Celebrating the Fruits of the First Harvest. It's by Anna Franklin and Paul Mason, published by Llewellyn. You can find it online or in good bookshops. I believe it's still in print. So what have I got to add to my little crescent this time? This is slightly dusty and a little bit forlorn. The remnants of my bouquet from when I got handfasted 17 years ago. And it's just been sat on a shelf collecting dust, and I think that it would be better served and I'd enjoy it more if we repurpose some of the flowers onto here. I've also got these little corn dollies, essentially. These were used as party favours at the hand fasting, and so I'm going to use some of those as well to fill up the extra space. I've got my trusty glue gun heating up, and so we're just going to get into this, and while I have a go at placing these, I will share with you some of the information about the Festival of Lammas. Okay, so while on screen you can see me getting it set up, I thought I would start by describing for you what the festival is, and I'm going to use the description straight out of the book because they explain it much better than I could. So, the Celtic festival of Lunasa, from the Gaelic Nasad, meaning games or assembly, of Lu, a Celtic deity and hero, survived the rise of Christianity by becoming Lammas, from the Anglo-Saxon Hlafmas, meaning loaf mass. It marks the start of the harvest when the first grain is gathered, ground and baked into a loaf of bread. The Lammas loaf is still traditional in many parts of the British Isles, and it's a wonderful way for the modern kitchen witch to work their magic. So, let's see what else they have for us in here. It does go on to say that although Lunasa has an ancient and fascinating history, nowadays it can be a rather obscure festival. Unlike Halloween or Samhain, that the average person is aware of, most people outside of the pagan community probably have not heard of Lammas, even though the name of the festival survives in modern Gaelic as Lunasa, the month of August. So we find that the Festival of Lammas is the first of 3 harvest-based festivals within the pagan calendar. This first one revolves around grain, one of the most valuable foods that they would have had in ancient times. It can be made into flour, made into bread, and of course, beer. It is a very important symbol. It represents the goddess, the seed, which spends time in the earth, sprouts and brings forth new life and nutrition, and then can be planted again, the cycle of life. Also, the cutting of corn is representative of the sacrificing of the god who is slain. He lays for the winter and then is reborn again. So we see again the cycle in nature represented in the cycle of the life and deaths of our gods and goddesses within our myths. Just to touch briefly on the other harvest festivals, the September festival, the autumn equinox, that is Mabon, that is our fruit harvest. And then we have Samhain or Halloween, which is the last harvest. That is the last chance you've got to preserve everything that you've still got so that it can see you through those cold winter months until we have the spring in the new year. back when I was hosting rituals for the Children of the Sacred Laughter, we had a large group, we were meeting outside. One of our favourite ways to celebrate the Festival of Lammas was to hold a Lammas Games or a Lunasa Games, whichever you prefer. This would be done before the ritual, so that during the ritual we could then crown the king or queen of the Lammas Games, and they would become the protector of the harvest for the next 12 months. We used to give them a corn dolly as their sort of trophy, and then they would protect that for a year and then bring it back the following year so that they could pass it on to whoever the next winner was. So some of the games that can be played, we were big fans of welly wanging. I don't know if that is a worldwide tradition or whether that's just a British thing, but literally a Wellington boot is used and you throw it as far as you can. But they are quite unwieldy and they tend to fly in odd directions. So there's a little bit of a safety element, but it's very fun to watch people throwing their wellies. So yeah, furthest one is the winner. There've been tug of war where you're pulling on a rope. We've done arm wrestling. There have been all sorts of games played. Think about your traditional carnival games. You might want to set up some sort of coconut shy where you're throwing balls at coconuts to knock them over, or tin cans. You might want to come up with your own traditions around what games you could play. And this could be a really nice way if you want to involve the family. You could have child-friendly games. Having all of the children take on one guy to do the tug of war is always a fun one. And as we later progressed to going to other Lammas celebrations, it was nice to see other different ways that they would choose to do a very similar thing. So there would be sort of wrestling matches, all good fun. But yeah, all with the idea of choosing a champion who could then protect the harvest. Now this book is absolutely jam-packed with information, and obviously I can't share it all with you now, so I do recommend grabbing a copy if you can. This is part of a series of books that Llewellyn published, where each book was dedicated to a single festival, which is a really nice way to get a more in-depth look at each festival if that's what you're after. One of the things I am going to share with you though is in the appendix they have got a list of different symbols relating to Lammas, and it starts with the colours. This is a fairly simple one. Royal purple, gold and yellow for the ripening corn, brown for earth, red for the blood of the sacrificed corn king. It's all fairly straightforward. It gives a list of plants. Alder, ash, basil, borage, daisy, nice summary one, fennel, gorse, grain of course, hazel, heather, honeysuckle, oak, poppies, lovely, reeds, rushes, vines and woad. Woad of course famously used to make that lovely blue dye. Gems of the season, we're looking at, again it's those goldy colours. We've got tiger's eyes, ambers, rutilated quartz, carnelian, that sort of thing. And the basic energies for this time of year, this festival, we're looking at sacrifice, harvest, redemption and renewal, death, mourning and protection. This half of the year tends to be a lot more introspective. This is the time for looking at your own personal harvest as well as the physical harvest of you. Not just the fruits of the earth, but the fruits of your labours. I'm going to share with you now John Barleycorn. There are tunes that go along with this, but I'm going to give it to you here as a poem for your enjoyment with a little bit of information. So the old ballad of John Barleycorn relates the widespread and ancient belief in a corn god or spirit in the form of a colourful and imaginative narrative. There are several versions of this ballad, but all tell of the sacrifice of John Barleycorn. He is the spirit of the vegetation that is sacrificed to harvest the food, or in this case, for beer or whiskey. that will sustain the people throughout the dark winter months and will be reborn with the next growing season. The name John Barleycorn has now become synonymous with, and sometimes a euphemism for, alcoholic drink generally. And here we go. There were 3 men came out of the west, their fortunes for to find, and these 3 men made a solemn vow, John Barleycorn must die. They've ploughed, they've sown, they've harrowed him in, though plods of barley head. And these 3 men made a solemn vow, John Barleycorn is dead. They let him lie for a very long time, till the rains from heaven did fall, and little Sir John sprung up his head, and so amazed them all. They've let him stand till midsummer's day, till he looked both pale and wan, and little Sir John's grown a long, long beard, so he became a man. They've hired men with scythes so sharp to cut him off at the knee. They've rolled him and tied him by the way, serving him most barbarously. They've hired men with the sharpest hooks who've pricked him to the heart. The loader who has served him worse than that, he bound him to a cart. They've wheeled him round and round a field till they came unto a barn, and there they made a solemn oath for poor John Barleycorn. They've hired men with crofting sticks to cut him skin from bone, and the miller he has served him worse than that, for he's ground him between 2 stones. And little Sir John and the nut brown bowl, he's brandy in the glass, and little Sir John and the nut brown bowl proved the strongest man at last. The huntsman he got off the fox, oh so loudly to blow his horn, and the tinker he can't mend kettle nor pots without a little barleycorn. Okay peeps, so we are all done with the Lammas wreath for my front door. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I like that I was a little braver with how much I filled the wreath compared to the last one that I made. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to make more. Let me know down in the comments, are you someone that likes to decorate seasonally in your house, be that with door decorations or elsewhere? I would really love to know how you are decorating. Also, if you are interested in learning more about Lammas and how I celebrate, I will pop a link up to the ritual playlist so that you can take a look at that and see how we celebrate not just Lammas, but all of the celebrations within the Wheel of the Year. Leave any comments that you've got down below. It always helps the channel if you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, if you've got that £1 to spare, do consider becoming a member of the Crafty Coven and become a channel member. I'll send you some stickers, you get early access to videos and special members only playlist of videos as well. So thank you very, very much for watching. Until next time, stay crafty.